How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Jose, aka TheNYCGeek, aka TNG, aka your Elden Lord returned, aka the one who will sit on the throne today, aka the guy who wants to give a round of applause. I want to give Marvel Studios nice old round of applause. First off, you didn't hear that in the theater that I just got home from, because I just got home from watching The Marvels, and this movie exceeded my expectations. I thought it was going to be bad. I thought it was going to be pretty bad, because it's just consistent with what Marvel's been putting out for years now. This product, it's been that way, right? But it was even worse than I thought it would be. It's worse than I thought. It was an awfully written, terribly paced, cringy as all hell disaster. And I'm happy. I'm happy that it was. I really am, because that means that this movie is tracking to be one of the worst MCU bombs out there. And Phase 4 and 5 were full of them. We're gonna compile a list, and you're gonna see how Phase 4 and 5 has not been even close to the resounding success that I don't know who in their right mind could think that it's been a resounding success. Many of these movies barely broke even, if that. I think the only ones that probably broke even were Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Black Panther, and Black Panther had an insane amount of marketing budget to it, so who knows? We're gonna look into the figures. And Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That's it. This is, and yet somehow, despite all those other bombs that were in there, this film is aiming to be the worst MCU film, rivaling the Eternals. I don't know if I'd say it's the worst MCU product out there, because the television shows are terrible. But like, this is some Thor 4, Thor Love and Thunder, and the Eternals level bad. Okay? And I just saw this movie at 5:45 p.m. with my friends here. And first off, thank goodness that they came. Thank you for coming, because I don't know if I could have lasted through this ordeal alone. I felt like my soul was leaving me at times. All right? The theater was pretty empty. When we got there, we were the first ones there. People started trickling in. I did a quick count, when they do the whole please, don't talk warning right before the preview start. I did a quick count, see how many people were there. It was maybe 30 to 40 people in a large Alamo screen. And we definitely had we had one Marvel consumer who, at the very end, he tried to clap. He like at the post-credit scene, he tried to do a clap. It was like, and he stopped. He stopped at like the second, like he went almost like, oh shit, like no one else is clapping. He died of embarrassment. I died for him. I secondhand died of embarrassment for him. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna go too deep into the plot. I'll try to avoid. I'm gonna be very vague, but if you're really that invested in the spoilers, that's your warning right there. But there is no other way to say it other than this. No other way to say it clearer than this movie was a mess. You could see where there were the reshot scenes, because this movie's been pushed back like 5 times or something like that, reshot multiple times, where they just stuffed in crap, put in this piss poor editing, shit that doesn't make sense. Quick, do an exposition dump, because nobody's gonna understand what's happening over here. The camera work was all over, especially the during the choreography. The fight choreography wasn't good, and when it was there, you could barely keep up with what was happening. The effects, the CGI, these special effects, they gotta work on this. I don't understand where $350 million went to in this film. I really don't. And the dialogue was just so cringe at times. You wanted to curl up into yourself and just die from how corny it was. Especially the stuff that came out of Kamala Khan's mouth. The actress, I should say, it's not her fault. It's not her fault. She's probably, out of everything, and you're probably gonna hear that a lot, she was probably trying to deliver the best that she could. The actress for Kamala Khan, she's probably trying to deliver the best that she could. But that character has always been the kiss of death. And I feel bad for this girl, because it's like, damn, man, she looks like she just wants to have fun, right? But she's stuck with this shitty character that has always been the kiss of death. And it's the truth. Just like all the other young Avengers and Miles Morales and all. I'll get to them in a second, but yeah, the plot was non-existent. It was tied together by like a bunch of events that made, and I got, man, did I take notes? I took like 4 pages of notes over here. Um, you know, it was tied together by these like events that made no sense, and it was like the equivalent of a kid. One of my friends said this perfectly. It's like when a kid asks a parent, it's like, well, why is it like this? And the parent goes, because. Why is the whole entangling powers teleportation thing so inconsistent? Sometimes it teleports them, sometimes it doesn't. Because why? How did Carol get back from Earth and just fly back to a spot that she was teleported away from several solar systems away in a few seconds? Because how is Hala's son dying because of a civil war on a distant planet? Because wait, that's just it. That's it. It's like the guy who does those pitch meetings, and it's just that's, and he tries to, you know, he's like, oh, because, and the actor, because I gotta remember his name. He's hilarious. This dude, he does those pitch meetings, and he does a thing where like one person is explaining the plot to the script to the studio head, and the studio head's like, well, what if this happens? And he's like, yeah, because it just happens, and that's exactly what this movie was. It was just like, oh, because, you know, and just, this movie already had the downside that you had to watch at least like 4 Disney Plus shows, right? You got to watch, you had to watch at least WandaVision, at least Loki, at least Miss Marvel, and at least Secret Invasion, because Loki's going to give you the whole multiverse thing. So you had to have at least watch these things. And it still felt like it needed another movie before this one, because so much stuff just happened off screen. Did you know beforehand that Captain Marvel basically ruined the Kree planet by killing the Supreme Intelligence? No, you had no idea. It was never mentioned in any of those other movies that she actually did that. No. Did you know beforehand that she visited a planet where people can only talk by singing the English language, and that she got married? No, you had no idea. It just. This movie is full of bad narrative, and nothing in it redeemed it. Nothing at all. I mean, not the action, which was bad. Especially that final fight. That final fight scene was a freaking joke, man. Not the dialogue, because like I said, you just felt like you were dying inside. And again, I'm not blaming the actress for Kamala Khan. I'm not blaming her, but her character is such a obnoxious. She's just so corny. You're like, dude, stop. This is some cringy shit. I know she's supposed to be a 16-year-old girl, but, you know, when I was 16, I'm sure I was cringy too. I get that. But I'm an adult. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that kind of stuff. It's just, you know, like I said, the action that it couldn't redeem it. The dialogue couldn't. The villain couldn't. Okay, I get that. I know that the MCU has always had this thing where people say that the MCU has terrible villains. And I get that. Some of them aren't the most fleshed out. Some of them do feel generic, right? But I think that the MCU has had some good villains. I thought Warmonger was pretty good. From the first Iron Man. I liked Baron Zemo a lot. I think Loki, obviously, it's a great villain. Thanos, without a doubt, is the best of all the MCU villains. Ego, in my opinion, was a damn good villain too. I think that the MCU has had, Killmonger was a good villain too. I think that there's been good villains in the MCU. So to just say that, oh, every single one is bad. No, they're not all that bad. But this one, Dar-Ben, whoo, she is like Whiplash. I hold the worst villain of the MCU being like Whiplash from Iron Man 2 and Malekith from Thor Dark World. She's up there. She is them next levels. It's like people are like, dude, there can't be anyone worse than Whiplash. And then here comes the Marvels saying, hey, hold my beer. Here's Dar-Ben, this gender bent version of Dar-Ben, more like Trash Ben, because that's where all this shit belongs. Okay? And if you think anyone gives a fuck, a flying fuck, that Kamala is out there recruiting Kate Bishop so she could start the Young Avengers, I invite you to look at how well characters like America Chavez and Ironheart turned out for the Marvel Comics. The MCU is determined to repeat the same mistakes that Marvel Comics did, which led to their bankruptcy and the eventual death of American comics. It wasn't only Marvel Comics responsible for that, because DC had its own share of that stupidity as well. But you better believe characters like Kamala Khan and Lady Thor and all that were the downfall of Marvel Comics. Because nobody gives a fuck when you gender bend and swap out fucking characters in lazy attempts to placate people. Because that's, I always say that that's why Miles Morales is the epitome of that. Just because, oh, he's Puerto Rican, you gotta love him. Fuck that shit, dude. You lazy fucks. How about you make your own original Puerto Rican character? Don't give me the fucking sloppy seconds, okay? But despite the rage flowing in me right now, I'm happy. I'm happy. I genuinely am. Because I'm happy to see that the MCU is dying. That's the best thing coming out of this. The MCU is dying. This movie's gonna bomb. Okay? I'm happy to see that even the pathetic shills on YouTube, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of fucking YouTube shills out there. They must be deep in that Disney dick. That they are the ones who stuck up and defended shit like She-Hulk. They're coming out, and even they're saying this movie is bad. They're saying this movie was a unmitigated disaster. I'm happy to see that even the Media Lab dogs, like Variety, are having to turn around and acknowledge me. I'm quoting Roman Reigns, that they have to acknowledge that we, the real fans, were right all along. We've been saying it for years. Been telling you for years, man. But you wanted to label us every fucking ugly label you could. You wanted to call and insult the fan base all you could because you were deep into that Disney check. You were getting that Disney money, right? But now even you can't hide it. No amount of copium, nothing. We've been saying it for years. The writing's been on the wall that this garbage was going to eventually turn even the diehard consumer away. Okay? And no amount of insulting the fan base, no amount of copium, no amount of excuses about it's COVID or the weather kept people from watching Blue Beetle or review bombing can say, or saying that we're review bombing can save this dying husk that is the MCU. Okay? That is the only way. And that's why I'm happy about it. People got to understand, I'm happy because that is the only way that these properties, that Marvel is ever going to be great again. When it is out of the hands of these parasitic ideologues who don't give a fuck about ruining the properties that we have grown up with. Okay, that we've grown up with these properties, that we've loved, that we've invested money into and time and passion into. We built these properties, okay? We, the fans, made them what they are. We're the reason why you turned around and were like, ooh, that property is popular. We should gobble it up. We're the ones, the fans, okay? When these bloodsuckers, these leeches that only know how to corrupt, okay, and burrow into the things that we made popular as actual fans so that they can pervert it to spout their message, when they no longer hold the rights to those properties, that's the only time that we can hope that it will return back to the people who actually give a shit about what they are working on, that actually have a passion about the product that they are buying and not just wondering how it can twist it and use it to their means, okay? That's why the Lord of the Rings trilogy is so still beloved to this day, because Peter Jackson didn't take that trilogy to shove in his own ideals. He tried his damnedest to keep it to the spirit of Tolkien's work. It's why Sam Raimi's films are so beloved, his Spider-Man films, because he didn't take it and twist it to shove in his own ideology. No, he made an adaptation and he kept as true to the character of Spider-Man and all of the works in there as he could. Okay? So when we finally get it out of these parasites, when we get it out of their hands, that's when we'll get good works. And that's why I'm happy to say that the Marvels was a piece of shit. I'm glad to see it burn. I love to see it burn around them. All right. Anyway, I gotta calm down. I gotta take a breather. So thank you as always for your time. Thank you guys for sharing it with me. It's precious to me. I appreciate it. Follow me on all that social media. Hit the damn like button if you liked it. Hey, if you disagree, hit the damn dislike button. That's what it's there for. Make sure to share it though. If you disliked it, make sure to share with your people. Let them know that that your stuff is dying out there. If you hated what I said, okay. And leave me a comment. Again, if you disagree, I always try to be cordial even to people that disagree with me. There have been plenty of people who have disagreed with my comments and my opinion. And I always try to at least be polite. I try to have some kind of discourse, especially when I was talking about like She-Hulk. You can go back and see the comments that I had there. There were some people who tried to defend that first episode, and I try to be very polite and talk to them. I always want to engage in discourse. I don't ever like to just shut it down. That's what they do. That's what they do. They just want to shut down your opinion. You don't agree with it, you don't like it, shut it down. Not me. That's not me. So leave me a comment. I always do my absolute best to respond to everything. I try to chat with every single one of you. Please, please, please be safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Don't watch this movie. Don't watch this movie. If you have to, you have to watch it because you're like, dude, I'm already invested in the MCU and I got to get to the end. I get it, man. Wait till if you're sub to Disney Plus, trust me, this movie will be out on Disney Plus sooner rather than later. Don't waste your hard-earned money. Don't give them that. Trust me. Have a good day. Take care of yourselves.